It's time to bid a fond farewell to Victoria 2, a game I have loved for over a dozen years. What are the things about it that I'll miss? What are the things that I won't miss? And what are the things that will probably still happen when I play Victoria 3? To start with, playing as Prussia, I'm going to defund that navy at the very beginning. Take it all the way down at the start so I don't have to spend a nickel on clipper convoys. There, I can put all the rest of the money into other things that are more important. I don't think population focuses are a thing in Victoria 3, and that's a bit of clicking I'm not going to miss having to do. It always feels like a chore setting these focuses for my provinces. There's also the matter of my entire army being completely the wrong composition and then having to bring them all back here to Berlin so they can properly form up. Oh yeah, that guy down in Sigmaringen. Gotta get him too. I'm not going to miss having to adjust the speed with multiple clicks. I like having single clicks. Oh, event spam. Is this still going to happen in the game? I don't know. The online playthroughs didn't seem too spammy, so I'm hoping it stays that way through the entire game. But one thing I absolutely will miss are these gorgeous 19th century drawings and artworks. Yes, I know we have beautiful oil paintings and lovely 3D artwork, but nothing says period flavor like actual period artwork. I expect one of the first mods out may very well include a graphical reworking of the images used in the game. Something else I don't think I'm going to miss is the rally point system as we try to figure out what the proper composition for my armies are and then trying to have them all near the proper rally point to get the proper stuff. Here's something else I won't miss, the gazillion different unit types. Something else I'm not going to miss is having to hover over the influence areas constantly, and then every now and then Turkey deciding it needs to influence Hesse-Darmstadt. No, I don't need that. More event spam. Another thing in the not miss category, why is it that as soon as I get to 11 units within an army, my siege efficiency goes to 90%? I now have to suddenly buy one entirely new engineer? On the other hand, if I do, then as long as I have 2 engineers and 2 cavalry in the unit, I can build it all the way up to 20 units. But if I get to 21, might as well get to 22, because I've got to add another cavalry and engineer just to balance everything out and keep these at 100%. I hope this isn't going to continue being a problem. Switzerland alliance spam? Ugh. And just as I was about to complain about having to constantly micromanage my diplomacy points, I got more event spam. Yes, let's help feed the local poor. Now, diplomacy. Just realized something else I don't think I'll miss. As I was working on my diplomacy, I got prompted that, we've just discovered railroad. Had to go to technology. And then, wait, I wanted to go back to my diplomacy. That's a lot of extra clicking, whereas if it's all done on the side menu, that should be a little bit better for quality of life. Good heavens, Switzerland, I just allied myself with you. And again, something else in the not gonna miss category is the spamming of generals and admirals. I have to leave it on because if I don't manage it, then I have all these points that just pile up and go to waste. But left to its own, the AI just constantly gets more and more generals, and I really don't have any idea of who's who by the end of the game. I really like the way Victoria 3 makes the selection of generals more personal, and with political consequences should they be dismissed. I swear, Switzerland, stop it! As the Austrians banned my ambassador, I realized this event-driven system really isn't much different from what was in Europa Universalis 2. That's how old this game is. It's still using EU2 style graphics. I won't miss those. Yes, I think I would much rather have diplomatic mana than constantly going in every month or two. Increase relations. There we go. Proceed. We're still going to be able to have fun adding nation-store spheres of influence and drawing them closer into our trade and such unions. I like that. Go away, Switzerland. I'm trying to build my army here. The crisis system. This is not something I don't think I'm going to miss. Let's go ahead and deal with this Ottoman crisis. All right. France doesn't back him. Spain doesn't back him. Russia doesn't back him. Yes, we're interested. We don't want to lose our prestige. I'm not writing enough poetry as it is. And oh dear. So Russia is going to be on this side. Ottoman Empire is on this side. Every time in Victoria 2 I've played this, it either leads to white peace or it's a ticking countdown to war. And it's a war you really don't want to be in unless you are one of these two parties. And even then you don't want to be in it because usually the AI will gang up on you. I don't like it at all because I can't really add war goals to the war. I can't bring my allies into the war. It's really something I hope just goes away. And I hope that the crisis system in Victoria 3, from what I've seen, it looks good. More spam there. Yes. Where was I? Oh, yes. Victoria 3 looks like it'll do a lot better with the crisis. Yes, thank you. System. Thank you. Than Victoria 2. That's a lot of spam in the middle of my discussion here. Seriously, what does Spain want to do with Bremen? I don't know. You know what else I'm not going to miss? Luxury clothes factories in Prussian Rhineland. I hope they don't happen in Victoria 3. You know what else I won't miss? Election spam. On a side note, taking Alsace-Lorraine from the French, I think that's always going to be a thing in Victoria, and I'm glad. Whereas kicking Austria and the Bohemia when you're Prussia is probably still going to happen, especially over stuff like this, I don't think I'm going to miss the fact that in Victoria 2, everything seems to have the same weight. By that I mean, if I take one state from a country, it doesn't matter if it's a single teeny tiny province like Gibraltar, I mean that counts as an entire state, or if it's a massive coal-producing region like Bohemia. they're the same in terms of diplomacy. Likewise, I have to expend a similar effort in recovering Hohenzollern as I would in picking up Hanover. I hope that Victoria 3 really has this scaled properly for the size of different regions, states, nations, etc. because I do not miss the exact same infamy cost for Gibraltar as for Bohemia. There's something to also be said for not missing the spam of war. Every battle, thing occupied, thing unoccupied, all this stuff I can do without. Just let the front lines move organically. I'll appoint generals, fire generals, whatever. Let the war run on its own so I can focus on building my nation. I mean, look at these. I really am going to miss these line drawings if they go away. Please, somebody making mods who are doing graphical overhauls, get these back in the game if Paradox takes them out. So another word about technology that I don't think I'll miss out of Victoria 2 is the fact that if I don't research something, it doesn't get researched. But in Victoria 3, technology will spread from more advanced nations to lesser advanced nations. So as Prussia, I may be fixated on industry and army, but I'll still get Navy techs filter down to me. Welcome to the late game. Here's something else I don't miss. Those little rebel stacks that just, they're in the nowhere place and I gotta march all the way over to get them. And if it's in one of my spearlings, I gotta march all the way over there because the spearling army doesn't do anything. I don't miss that. Speaking of the late game, let's take a look at the late game economy. Alright, I'm making loads of iron. I am #1 in the world. How much iron is being consumed? Don't know. I gotta click here to find out. Alright, whoa! We're using that much and we're only making that much? How do we make more iron? We can't. We gotta go conquer more if we want to get more iron. But where is more iron? I don't know. Do we have to conquer the USA and the Qing and France? Even if I did all those, I still wouldn't have as much iron from them as I am using right now. Oof. The late game economy where there's huge demand for all the raw materials that are out there and there's no way to produce more and there's no way to control the spread of the economy so that way it doesn't over demand. This I won't miss, and I also won't miss having to click on here to see where the supply and demand is, and there's actually no relationship at all to what it's doing to the price. So I'm very glad to see that coming into Victoria 3. And if you look at my Germany right now, it's pretty big. It's got a lot of minority groups in there. It's 1911. Where's the agitation to get out? If there is, I crush it. If there isn't, I just reap the benefits. The problem with the late game is that there's a better in than out scenario in Victoria 2. There's really no incentive to spin off nations except to reduce infamy. That's about it. Or if there's an event chain that's spamming you and you've just had enough, then okay, release the nation, end the spam chain, and get on with the game. But if that releasable nation makes any coal or iron, no way are they leaving my country. They stay locked in. The late game ennui is a real thing in Victoria 2. After a great war, it's all downhill and it's frankly just a lot of clicking until the game just ends, or you decide not to load that last save and start over again. In this game, Germany has won a great war, has blown out the United Kingdom. It's the Workers' Commonwealth now. Russia, that's a puppet. There aren't any international challengers. The US may be close, but is it really going to be able to take me on? I don't think so. So in a game when there's not enough supply to meet demand, a great war has been fought and enemies vanquished, and no real reason to try to balance nationalist aspirations with political integration, the late game in Victoria 2 is really something I hardly ever play because I've already gotten everything I want out of the game and I'd like to go back and start something new. We haven't seen late game gameplay in Victoria 3, and while I can be hopeful that they've done something to try to make it better, I have to face facts that I'm a human player against the AI in a grand strategy game. Chances are I may come out on top long before the game is actually over. But then again, that's hope for modders. If they can write a mod that adds a lot more spiciness to the late game, I'm on board with that. I do enjoy the phases of Victoria 2. Industrialization, colonization, Great War. It's that fourth act that's missing some fun for me. If Victoria 3 can make that fourth act entertaining and challenging, that would be an excellent change in the game. Also, you can see here, all I'm doing is encouraging craftsmen. Please, I hope Victoria 3 gives me something more to do than spam out a bunch of factory workers. That part of Victoria 2 I won't miss. In all, it seems like the only thing I really will miss out of Victoria 2 is going to be the line art. Everything else is either going to be in the game, Victoria 3, or will be something that has been improved.